This is a CBS News special report. The flight of Apollo 9, brought to you by Western Electric, manufacturing and supply unit of the Bell System, as part of our continuing coverage of important news events.
And, Spider, this is Houston. Do we still have you in voice here?
Sure do.
These are pictures directly from the spacecraft entering over the United States.
What we're doing is we're filling up, we're recharging the flip, and I'm eating my lunch. Yeah, the commander is talking while he's eating. He's not supposed to do that.
You see Rusty Schweickart on the left, Jim McDivitt, the commander, on the right in the foreground. They are in the lunar module. The television cameras went on just half a minute or so ago as they began this pass over the United States. Rusty Schweickart
Okay,
holds...
Houston, that's done.
Oh, very good. Hey, it's a tremendous picture, Spider.
Great. How much longer do we have our tremendous picture? 10 more minutes?
Schweickart
Yeah,
holding
we've got it for about another 13 minutes, Spider. We can watch your whole lunch there. Count your bites.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
McDivitt, who apparently has quite an appetite, he complained most of yesterday about being hungry.
And,
He's eating as
Spider,
we have
will
this
you read me back
television
over
transmission.
Redstone in Hawaii?
I read you the first time, but that was only one time.
Okay, understand.
Not good. Just barely. Houston, Spider.
Go ahead, Spider.
Roger. We wondered, going over the stateside there on the EVA, did you read us all the way? We noticed that you didn't say anything even when we asked questions.
We were reading everything, all of you, loud and clear, and we just weren't getting up to you, but the comm from you was terrific. We read all your conversations. Sound like you were really having a ball.
Yeah, it's a pretty good view from out there. That's what you call a view from the top of the stairs. Limb stairs, that is. Have you got any words of wisdom on tomorrow's flight plan yet, Smokey?
Raj, we'll cover that with you later if you want. We'll settle down. And if you got anything that you can give us along the line about clearing the tunnel, it sounds like that goes pretty well.
Yeah, the tunnel doesn't take long at all. It's getting ready to clear the tunnel.
Okay, and hey, Red Rover, how about a big smile for the folks at home here, and let us know that you're feeling pretty good after that show.
Yeah, we're feeling great, as a matter of fact. McDivitt doesn't look so good, but he feels all right.
Well, that was the typical friendly CDR smile.
Right. They don't like it because I've got a better beard than they do. Straight teeth, but a crooked smile.
Well, I don't like you because you got a better view than I do.
That's okay. We just don't like you.
Okay, we're coming up on a keyhole now. We'll probably have a dropout for about a minute and 55 seconds or so and pick you back up again.
Okay. Okay, you want the TV to stay on?
Oh, that's affirmative. Leave it just like it is. We'll just have a little blizzard for the folks at home and pick you back up again.
Okay.
The keyhole to which he refers we saw yesterday in the previous transmission, or was it the day before? The days begin to blur here in the fourth day of the flight. This is between two receiving stations. After the spacecraft leaves the area of one receiving station and is then picked up by another. It should be at this point just about over Texas. just a little north of Dallas. As you saw there, McDivitt seemed not to be using his restraining straps that keep the astronauts from floating around in their space capsule. At least he seemed to be a little more buoyant than did Schweickart. It may have been just the camera angle, because he was much closer to the camera than Schweickart. It was a very good view of the two of them in this capsule that is only about the size of 2 telephone booths. In that forward part, you were looking from the forward part of the compartment to the rear, the area in which they're standing.
Okay, Spider, we've lost your picture here now. We should be able to pick it back up shortly. We're curious if we can get the picture back, if you could show us a view out of the overhead window of the command module. Would that be possible?
Roger.
Out the window and up around the tunnel area, if you could. And we're showing about 8 minutes left in the pass.
Okay, I'll show you a picture of Davey over in the gumdrop waving at us.
Okay, we do not have your TV picture at this time. I'll let you know when we got it.
Originally programmed for these pictures to be taken by the television camera mounted outside of the spacecraft as part of Rusty Schweikart's space walk. That walk, however, was terminated after only 30 minutes.
Now.
Here it is.
Spider, we've got the picture back again now.
I'll show you a picture of the back of the limb. I don't know if you can see much back there.
Okay, and just a word, Jim, we'd like to have you hold the camera about a minute or so in each position to let the light compensate right. Maybe the picture will come in a little clearer.
Hey, I'll give you the one at the top first to make sure we get it.
Okay. Yeah, we can see it out. Oh, it's a good view, Spider. Hey, that's terrific. Dave, how about waving to the folks at home?
This is a picture back from the
really
lunar
great,
module to
Spider,
the
and
command
coming
module.
up, it's really beautiful, and we can see you waving, Dave. Hey, that's really a terrific shot.
Tell you what I'll do. I don't know if it's still light out there, but maybe I can give you a view out the front window of the lamb down at the legs.
All right, yes, let's do that. And we've got about 6 minutes left. That's really great.
I can't see much out there. I'll show you one of our quads.
Hey, that's a terrific shot. You know, that camera picks up pretty well even when you're moving it fast, and that's a beautiful shot of the quad now, Jim.
The quad, or the little 100-pound
Okay, now I'll
thrusters.
show it right straight down the minus x-axis, as close as I can get it, and you can just see the legs sticking out down there.
Okay, the picture is pretty good, Spider. It's real clear. I'm not sure I can pick out the leg right there at this time. We'll take a look at it here.
That's okay. Neither can I. You don't see very much of it, Smokey.
Okay, well, I don't feel so bad then.
Okay, just a minute. Let me show you a little more of the outside of the command module. I'll show you the side window, and you can see the EVA light sticking out there on the pole. It's also part of the limb radar antenna.
Jim, can you move the camera a little closer to the window?
It's right up against the window now.
Okay.
I'm not sure that you can really see it that well. There's a picture of the radiation meter. So far, we haven't detected any radiation.
Oh, very good. Hey, that's a real good picture.
It also might be interesting to look at the front of the limb in the instrument panel.
Yes, that'd be real great if you could show us a couple of views of that, and maybe one of up in the tunnels, so we can see how you get in and out of there on your way to work each morning.
Okay, well, this is the interim storage assembly that we're looking at right here. The instrument panel is right behind it. For the EVA, we put all of our equipment in that big bag. As you can see, the telescope sticking out right above that with all the wires wrapped around it.
Okay, Jim, we can see where it is. It's just a little dark to show the AOT up real good, but we've got a real clear picture of your storage bag.
Okay, maybe I can take a diagonal picture of the instrument panel here.
Spider, I got the docking target up there. Let's try that.
Okay. Smokey, can you see this picture?
Okay, we can see the caution and warning panel with a couple of 3 lights lit up, but it is just a little dark on the panel itself.
Okay, listen, we'll go back and I'll show you the docking targets, green and yellow. Too bad we don't have green and red. Too bad we don't have color TV, and it's in the command module window now.
Okay, that'd be a good shot if we can get through to that. Hey, that picture's fantastic. Dave, let's just hold it. I mean, Jim, let's hold it right there for a while. That's really a terrific shot, Jim. We're getting the Earth in the background, and the clearness of the command module is outstanding.
It's a clear command module.
All right. I guess I should say the gumdrop there looks loud and clear. Okay, Jim, we've got about a minute and a half left. That picture is beautiful.
Okay.
And could we give it a try up the tunnel? It's probably pretty dark, but we'd like to see how it comes in.
Yeah, I'm not sure that... Hey, Dave, is the tunnel pressurized or not?
Yeah, it's pressurized.
Okay. Still, we don't have the tunnel open, and we can't get it open very far because we still have the OPSs on the back wall. Just a minute.
Oh, Raj, we understand, Jim. Yeah.
Okay, there's a picture of the drogue sticking down into the tunnel with the probe stuck in the end of it, and you can see the upper hatch of the limb is open. It's probably not...
Now, hold the camera right there, Jim. That's real clear. It's a beautiful picture.
Hey, stand by and I'll pull the hatch up.
Oh, okay. It's really a clear picture, Jim.
Take a picture. We really ought to have for you are those 6 black hoses in the limb. Or the command line just snaking around 3 people when we're trying to do something.
Raj, understand. And we're going to lose you here. Tell Dave to belay the taking out the hatch. We're just about to drop you.
Yeah, I think it's out now. I don't know if you can see anything.
No, we've lost the picture. That's the end of the pass. Right on schedule.
Good work.
Hey, we sure appreciate you taking that time out, Jim. That was great.
Commander Jim McDivitt took time out from his lunch hour, apparently, to man that camera to show us those very clear pictures of the lunar module. Unfortunately, we didn't get a very good picture outside of the Earth as we might have had if Rusty Schweickart had gone through with all of his EVA walk, his extravehicular activity, and had used the camera outside of the spacecraft. But we got a little bit of a view in the background there, and that was just about over Alabama. So what we did see of the good Earth from 153 miles up on this pass, on this revolution of the Apollo 9, was Alabama. We had a good look at Rusty Schweickart as he was holding a checklist there, a test pilot's checklist, and as the camera came on, they were just replenishing the supplies in the portable life support system, that large backpack that, if you were with us earlier today, you saw Rusty Schweickart wearing on the front porch of the lunar module. That has a 4-hour supply of oxygen and cooling liquids in it that can be replenished, and they were filling up that support system again, bringing it up to the top. About 40 minutes of it had been used in Rusty Schweikart's walk this morning. They want it up to full capacity in case any emergency should require egress from the spacecraft. They don't expect that, but they could use the PLSS in that case. CBS News color coverage of the flight of Apollo 9 will continue in a moment. We might go out now to Grumman Aircraft in Bethpage, Long Island, where Steve Rowan is with test astronaut Scott McCloud in the simulated lunar module. Perhaps they can tell us a little more of what we have just seen on television from the spacecraft itself. Steve, Scott?
Walter, once again it appeared that the television camera, the new device made by Westinghouse for use in the lunar landing mission, was mounted near the commander's window. Scotty?
I got it. I think they mounted it right about over here, Steve. We could see Jim in this position and Rusty over in that position.
Rusty over here was working with this water gun. I think he had just finished replenishing the water supply in the portable life support system, and noticed that he took a drink from that gun.
Yes, he did.
Pressing the button. Jim was eating over there, wasn't he?
Yes, he was down in this area eating.
Now they moved the camera around, and what did we see?
Well, one thing they asked for was the front panel, and the reason they couldn't see that was the ISA, the interim stowage assembly, was there.
That's a series of bags, something like this, that hang up for periods of time when they're using this area to stow things.
Gear is stowed in that, just loose.
They did show us a view out the docking window, though, rather spectacular view.
The docking window is right up here, and I would assume Jim held the camera something like this. He said he held it right up to the window itself and pointed straight up at the dock command module above.
We could see what looked like railroad tracks on that docking window. Those are the markings on which they sight for docking, correct?
Yes.
Let's see. They then went back to the hatch, and it looked to me, Scotty, as if they were using one of these little portable lights.
Well, the
lights.
hatch would be rather dark when they looked up there, and when they were holding the camera up, they'd get a very poor view, so Rusty probably picked up one of the utility lights and shone it up the hatch.
These can be clamped almost anywhere around the spacecraft and used for just the purpose that you'd use them for if they were in your home.
Yes.
Right. So, Walter, they gave you a little bit of a tour of this spacecraft, which, as you say, is about as big as 2 telephone booths and which can get to be awfully small. Interesting again, Scotty, that they had their helmets off, their gloves off. Rusty apparently was standing, perhaps not restrained, but perhaps with Velcro. Was Jim floating around?
I don't think either of them were restrained, but really you couldn't tell too well from the picture. The Velcro would hold them down on the floor.
Okay, Walter.
Right, what they actually saw there out the window, as you recall, when they were so ecstatic on the ground at Houston, Smokey Russa, the capsule communicator, over the picture of Dave Scott, and we saw him just barely in the background there, waving through the window. Well, we can show you on this model over here, that rendezvous window is right up on the top, right there. You can just barely see it in there. Right down in that little corner is where it is. Now, that is the rendezvous window. It's a very small window, but by pointing the camera back there, they were looking right back up into here, into this window, where David Scott was. That was the view that they had out of the window that you saw with your television camera. The camera is a 7.5-pound instrument being used for the first time on this flight, and it has a series of lenses with it for the lunar mission. It has only two on this particular mission, a wide angle and a long lunar day lens, it is called. The wide angle lens was undoubtedly the one that we were watching inside the capsule today and also on the earlier television transmission. It has a quite remarkable lens that will go with it to the moon. It's called the lunar night lens, and that lens is so sensitive that in a demonstration of that Westinghouse camera, it was focused on a screen in a dark room, the screen having some figures shown on it that could not be seen by the naked eye. But the television picture was perfectly clear as if it was made in daylight. So that with that lens, they hope to get even nighttime photography on the moon when perhaps Apollo 11 gets there. That may be in July. This will be the last transmission scheduled at any rate for the flight of Apollo 9. Just two were scheduled. Tomorrow's work schedule in the lunar module is so busy that it was thought they would not bother the commander, McDivitt, and the lunar module pilot, Schweickart, with any television transmissions tomorrow. And then when they leave the lunar module tomorrow and climb back into the command capsule, they send the lunar module on off into space, jettison it. The camera will go along. It is not adaptable to the command module itself. So this is probably the last transmission of the television from Apollo 9. This pass was made 153 miles over the United States, as you watched it a few moments ago. Earlier today, Scotty McLeod out there at Grumman did the extravehicular activity along with Schweickart, who was doing it 153 miles up over us. McLeod, Scotty, I wonder if you could come up again and we could talk about that EVA activity. We saw Schweickart this morning doing a great deal out there on the front porch in the 38 minutes. He didn't make the full spacewalk that was planned, but we saw you duplicating those maneuvers. Was there anything about that operation that surprised you, or did you think it went just about as planned?
Well, Walter, it appeared to me from what I could see that Rusty's walk went just about as they had planned it. I saw no problems that he ran into. He did say that the mobility of the suit seemed quite good when it was fully pressurized, and I think there was a comment about the cooling also in his gloves.
Scotty, he mentioned that his hands stayed cool. Is that unusual in spacesuits? Do your hands usually get hot?
Remember, there is this liquid-cooled garment in this suit, and previously they had just blown the oxygen throughout your body, or on the surface of it. So this does give better cooling. It takes away the high heat buildup.
That oxygen just never got quite down to the hands, I take it.
Well, it got there, I guess, but certainly this appears to be better.
In the activities tomorrow that Walter was mentioning, I think, of course, the important thing is the series of burns that has to take place. The descent engine is going to be burned again. Everybody's pretty happy that it burned very successfully yesterday.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be burned twice. I understand there was some cheering over in one of the plants here at Grumman yesterday when Walter announced that that burn was taking place. And then the ascent engine.
Yes.
Any difficulties that you see ahead?
No, none whatsoever. We have the utmost confidence in the vehicle. I'm sure the crew does also.
The only untested portion for tomorrow, Scotty, now is, well, of course, the two vehicles flying alone and not connected to the command ship, but is the ascent engine. The descent engine we had that test on, so now it's up to the ascent engine to work, right?